6 months ago, Andrew Miller believed he possessed everything he could desire. His relationship with Lisa blossomed with an intense, surprising passion that swept both of them off their feet. Deeply in love, they were joyfully settling into their first shared home, happily distracted by painting walls and debating where each piece of furniture should go. Fully absorbed in the rewarding everyday tasks of building a joint life, Lisa arrived with her devoted, fluffy orange tabby Oliver, a constant presence through her life, long before Andrew. While adapting to pet ownership for the first time, Andrew was also excelling in his promising new role at an industrial chemical plant, enjoying the security of good pay and benefits. Every facet of their envisioned future appeared perfectly aligned, and, within reach, an unwanted shift arrived unexpectedly one evening. Andrew distinctly remembers a faint, peculiar tickling sensation on his scalp. Assuming it was likely just dry skin from changing weather, he casually purchased a dandruff shampoo during routine shopping, confident it would resolve things swiftly. The relief never materialized. Within days, that minor nuisance worsened significantly, morphing into a relentless, nagging presence that dominated his awareness. He frequently caught himself absently scratching his head during critical work presentations behind the wheel of his car, and, even in the dead of night, the harsh scraping sound of his nails often pulling Lisa from sleep. As this profound discomfort tightened its grip, a disturbing connection solidified in Andrew's mind, casting a shadow over his young marriage. The troubling itching had appeared almost precisely when they moved into the new home with Oliver. Unfamiliar with living alongside any animal, Andrew viewed the cat as an unknown variable, a potential source of hidden parasites. The more he fixated on this thought, the more undeniable his conclusion became. Oliver was the culprit. He grew utterly convinced this torment could have only one source. Fleas overwhelmed by the constant irritation and absolute certainty? Andrew hurried to the nearest pet supply store. He spent more than $200 assembling a full array of anti-flea products, specialized shampoos for the cat, fogging balms for every single room, furniture sprays, and even those somewhat comical flea collars. Lisa was taken aback by his unshakable conviction. Oliver, for his part, showed no typical signs of infestation. No unusual jumping, no frantic scratching, nothing whatsoever. Still witnessing Andrew's genuine anguish and wanting to support her partner despite her own skepticism, she reluctantly agreed to the treatment plan. The confused orange tabby endured a foamy bath, his expression one of bewildered betrayal, as Lisa carefully lathered him with the expensive solution. Soon their entire home reeked of the strong, acrid smell from the flea sprays, as every surface received a thorough chemical dosing. However, the assault brought Andrew no relief. His torment didn't fade. It worsened, evolving into an excruciating, ceaseless, crawling feeling under his skin. Sleep was elusive, concentration at work shattered, and the harmony of their shared space disintegrated. Exhausted, agitated, and losing rationality, Andrew's patience evaporated. The sight of a single stray cat hair, or the faintest sound near Oliver, felt like new, irrefutable evidence against the animal. After yet another torturous, sleepless night, where his scalp burned as if on fire, Andrew finally broke. Weeks of suffering had completely destroyed his tolerance, his voice rough with fatigue and rage. Oliver must leave. He insisted the cat was the undeniable source of his agony. Lisa felt her heart shatter. Oliver wasn't just a pet. He was her family, her rock through life's darkest chapters, providing unconditional comfort long before Andrew appeared. The notion of discarding him, based on an unconfirmed theory, struck her as profoundly cruel. Tears streaming, she pleaded, "Andrew, think about it. Oliver doesn't even have fleas. He's never scratched, never acted like anything's wrong. Could there be another explanation? Had you thought about consulting a doctor?" Andrew, consumed by his conviction and maddened by the itch, dismissed her pleas outright, his obstinacy intensifying, the heavy, suffocating tension enveloping their fragile marriage. Finally, crushed by sorrow and confronted with an unbearable decision, Lisa capitulated, weeping uncontrollably. She gathered Oliver's favorite toys, his food dish, his snug bed. As she drove away, the bewildered cat gazed from his carrier at a disappearing world, the sounds of Lisa's devastated sobs echoing in the empty passenger seat beside her. Oliver's absence brought no relief. The house settled into a sterile quiet, yet the bizarre affliction plaguing Andrew's scalp persisted unchanged. The relentless, itchy, crawling sensation just as intense. Lisa observed this grim continuation with mounting dread, but confronting Andrew felt impossible. His fragile state had deteriorated into near-constant agitation. His symptoms soon shifted alarmingly. Small, raised bumps appeared across his scalp. Undeniable proof, Andrew declared instantly, of phantom flea bites taking hold after the cat's removal. The torment grew so acute that he began wearing hats, constantly indoors and outdoors, regardless of the warming spring temperatures. Trying in vain to contain the agony, Andrew's debilitating condition inevitably seeped into his work life. At the chemical plant, his constant scratching, obvious distraction, and increasingly unkempt appearance became impossible to dismiss. His supervisor, deeply concerned by the plummeting focus and performance, finally intervened and pulled him aside. "Andrew, we're worried about you," he said carefully. "You're not yourself. Maybe it's time to see a doctor?" But Andrew barely heard him, because by then the itching wasn't just on his scalp anymore. It was everywhere. Simultaneously, another night of watching Andrew writhe in unbearable pain shattered Lisa's resolve to remain silent. Despite the heartbreak over Oliver's unjust exile and the widening gulf between them, her love and concern for Andrew proved stronger. Unable to endure his suffering any longer, she insisted firmly, leaving no room for refusal, that they see a doctor. Exhausted and his own solutions depleted, Andrew reluctantly agreed. The physician listened carefully as Andrew described the unending itch, the phantom bites, and the developing bumps. A meticulous examination of his scalp followed, contact dermatitis. He concluded, an allergic reaction, likely to something in your environment. The doctor suggested a likely link to Andrew's new workplace, hinting at particular industrial chemicals or even the protective gear he wore there. Antihistamines and a soothing topical cream were prescribed to address the inflammation and some calm the maddening itch. Yet despite the new treatment plan, Andrew's mysterious condition defied the solution. His affliction, evolving, disturbingly stubbornly persisted. 2 agonizing months into this ordeal, Andrew developed a fever. Deep, pervasive aches and overwhelming fatigue consumed his body. Most terrifyingly, the bumps on his scalp underwent a horrific transformation. Tiny, thread-like structures emerged directly from his skin, not hairs, but colored strands resembling microscopic fibers. One evening, utterly defeated after a grueling shift, he sat slumped on the bed's edge, his head buried in his hands. Witnessing his profound misery, Lisa felt her heart clench, despite the thick tension separating them. "Let me help," she whispered, picking up the medicated cream. Sitting behind him under the harsh glare of the bedside lamp, she gently parted his hair and froze. Something looked profoundly unnatural. Her reading glasses provided little clarity, only heightening her dread. She quickly retrieved her magnifying glass. The magnified view sent a wave of icy terror through her. Under the unforgiving light, the stark detail was undeniable. These were not hairs or scabs, but actual minute fibers. In stark black, startling blue, and disturbing red. Pushing straight up out of his flesh. The sheer unnatural horror of it, This invasion of his body ripped a blood-curdling scream from Lisa, shattering the quiet of the house. This surpassed any rash or allergy. It was something inexplicably profoundly wrong. Finally, confronted with appalling visual proof of something bizarre and severe, and terrified by Lisa's reaction, Andrew demanded an immediate emergency room visit. Following extensive examinations and specialist consultations, a dermatologist familiar with rare disorders delivered the chilling diagnosis: Morgellons disease. Morgellons disease, often controversial within medicine and sometimes dismissed as psychosomatic, precisely matched Andrew's torment. The unrelenting itch, the sensation of creatures moving under the skin, and the horrifying emergence of unexplained fibers. While the medical team initially struggled to find a cause, Andrew's mention of his job at the chemical plant changed everything, prompting an urgent investigation. Alarmingly, records revealed several current and former employees from the same facility had reported eerily similar, often undiagnosed symptoms over many years. Environmental testing within the plant subsequently identified high levels of unusual chemical compounds inadequately filtered from the air, specific toxins that, combined with Andrew's unique sensitivity, were determined to be the likely trigger for his Morgellons manifestation. The source of his months-long agony, the force that had nearly destroyed his marriage, wasn't Oliver, it was his workplace. The truth slammed into Andrew like a physical blow, washing over him in a crushing wave of guilt and shame. He had wrongly condemned the innocent cat, lashed out at Lisa, and almost shattered their relationship. Fueled entirely by his own escalating fear and stubborn misconception, overwhelmed by remorse from his hospital bed, he called Lisa, his voice thick with emotion. "It was never Oliver. It was me. I'm so sorry. Please, bring him home." Lisa, her own heart aching for Andrew, but profoundly relieved by the concrete diagnosis and the vindication of her beloved pet, wasted no time arranging for Oliver's return. Andrew began a specific course of treatment, targeting the Morgellons symptoms, and he successfully requested a transfer to a different department within the company, known for its superior safety protocols. He also found vital support and validation within an online Morgellons patient community, connecting with others who understood the isolating journey. Under the care of a specialist who acknowledged the physical basis of his condition, his distressing symptoms finally began a gradual welcome retreat. Their harrowing ordeal had strained their relationship to the breaking point. However, navigating the difficult path to recovery together, rebuilding trust through shared understanding and relief, ultimately forged a deeper, more resilient connection. And Oliver, the unwitting catalyst for the entire crisis, remained blissfully unaware of the immense chaos his simple presence had set into motion. Curled contentedly on Andrew's lap, he purred deeply as gentle fingers stroked his soft orange fur. A quiet, cherished moment representing profound healing for everyone involved. That's all about our stories. Do you have any thoughts after hearing the story? Please share it in the comments below.